The man and his rabbit go fish. In a small cabin by a big lake, a man and his rabbit lived by themselves with a mischievous muskrat. One day, the man and his rabbit decided to go fishing. So they left the house early in the morning, walked down the path that led to the lake, walked across the boat dock, and got into their rowboat. Then the rabbit looked at the man and said, "Do you think we need some tackle?" So the man and his rabbit got out of the boat, walked across the dock, and back up the path into the house. They found their tackle box and made sure it had everything they could possibly need. And then walked back out of the house, down the path, across the dock, and got back into the boat. The rabbit looked at the man and said, "Do you think we need some poles?" So the man and his rabbit got out of the boat, walked across the dock, and back up the path into the house. They each got their very best fishing poles, and then walked back out of the house, down the path, across the dock, and got back into the boat. The rabbit looked at the man and said, "Do you think we should get some line?" So the man and his rabbit got out of the boat, walked across the dock, and back up the path into the house. They looked around for their fishing line, but found that the muskrat had made a nest for himself with it. The rabbit, who never really liked the muskrat, chased him away from the line. After they had untangled the line, they walked back out of the house, down the path, across the dock, and got back into the boat. The rabbit looked at the man again and said, "Do you think we need bait?" Without waiting for an answer, the rabbit leaped out of the boat, cleared the dock in a single leap, and shot up the path into the house. He grabbed the muskrat, dragged him down to the water, tied him to the end of his fishing line, and tossed him into the water to use as bait. The muskrat never hit the water, but only skimmed across its surface straight to the bank of the lake, chewed through the line, and ran back into the house. The man looked at the rabbit with a frown, but the rabbit only shrugged. One more time they got out of the boat, walked across the dock, and traveled halfway up the path, where they stepped into the grass and dug for worms to use as bait. When they found their worms, the man and his rabbit walked back down the half path, across the dock, and got back into the boat. Happy that they finally had everything they needed in the boat, the man dipped the oars into the water and rowed. He rowed and rowed and rowed and rowed until the rabbit finally spoke up and said, "Do you think we should untie the boat from the dock?" The man turned to find he had only gone a few feet from the dock, since a heavy rope still held the boat securely tied to it. Once he had untied the boat, the man rowed again until he reached the middle of the lake. Having found the perfect location, he tossed the anchor over the side of the boat. He and the rabbit watched it sink to the bottom of the lake, and then the rabbit looked at the man and said, "Do you think we should have tied it to the boat?" The man looked over the side of the boat and saw the rope for the anchor also sink to the bottom of the lake. They shrugged and cast their lines into the water. Then they placed the tackle box into the middle of the boat. They opened the top of the box and unfolded the next layer, and then the next layer, and then the next, until it had folded out into a small table. The man opened a drawer on the side of the tackle box and pulled out a deck of cards. He dealt 4 cards to himself and 4 to his rabbit. Taking their cards in hand, the man looked at the rabbit and said, "Do you have any fours?" The rabbit looked back at him with a smile and said, "Go fish."